Tell me about the personal incident that led to crash.
I was carjacked coming home from a premiere. I was working in television, and I'd gone to see a film with my wife. And we stopped at the Blockbuster Video to get a video, because one movie was never enough for us in those days. And I went through and I was looking for something that I hadn't seen, and I think I picked up some Dutch film about two fishermen or something. And so we were walking out, two young men with guns came up and stuck guns in my face and said, "Give us the car." And I said, "Absolutely, take it." And my wife was in the car by the time. And I said, "Diane, get out." And she said, "Why?" I said, "Diane, get out of the car." She said, "Why?" I said, "Diane, get out of the car right now." And so she did. And we stood on the sidewalk, and the fellows told us to walk towards the dark alley. I thought that a rather poor choice. And so I took her and I placed her in front of me with my back to them, and I walked towards Wilshire Boulevard. And we got about 10 feet, and I heard stop. And this man ran up, shoved the gun in my back again, and grabbed the video. Grabbed the videotape, hopped in the car, and took off.
Strange.
Yes. So the police showed up within minutes. And after giving them the description of these two young men, I then proceeded to tell them what my theory of the crime was. I said, I think these guys had been there many times looking for that video, and it was never in. And when they saw us walking out with it, it was too much to take. They snatched it and took the car to make a getaway. And the cops sort of stared at me. But that's how you deal with, with situations. You tend to deal with them with humor, so that you don't really have to feel anything in the moment. Anyways, those kids, I thought about them many times over the years. Who they were, how long they'd known each other, if they just met that night, if they were old friends from school. I was really curious about them. And I remember waking up, again, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was thinking about them. And so I decided to get up and write about them. And then I asked myself, well, who did they run into that night? Well, they ran into me and my wife. And what did we do? Well, we went home and changed the locks at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I just started following the characters and as they bumped into each other. And many things had been troubling me about living in Los Angeles. What we take for granted in our daily lives, the things we do to others without realizing it. And you drive down the street and someone cuts you off and you yell at them and you immediately judge them. And then you turn right and they turn left. And what happens to them because of that interaction? Do they go home and get in a fight with their wife or something because they're all stirred up? Or do they stop at the side of an accident and save someone's life? You don't know. But we know in that moment who they are. We love to judge people. And we often judge people by our differences. The color of their skin is an easy one. So that's how I started writing that. And by the morning, I had the full outline of the story with all the characters.